the games. Okay, so pretty much I haven't lost a single game for the times I played. So I don't know.
I told you I'm an elite tier. I'm just the greatest. I reach into your brain, into the Blizzard matchmaking, and I just it's like the force.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, honestly, mate, here's the thing. If it was semi-competitive and or there was like a situation where you're like, I don't know what to do in that situation, or I'm not really sure what the best way to handle that, it doesn't really matter. A win is a win, a loss is a loss. There's no specific preference, honestly.
Oh, okay. Because like the ones I lost was like I lost 2, but those were the 2 that I was completely tilted, and I stopped playing after the 2 because I realized I'm just gonna keep on losing.
Yeah, so I would avoid that just for the sake of the fact that when you're tilted, you can make mistakes that there might not be as much to learn from.
And I know that I'm making stupid shit, so I don't think it's like very learning.
Yeah, okay. I mean, we talked about like what you need to be doing to work at that mentality, obviously. But then obviously, like if we're here for just learning how to play the game better, things to practice, then yeah, not as usual.
I think how I did it, I think the best way I do it is just literally just stop playing after I get tilted.
Yeah.
And I just hop back on.
Yeah, works for me.
That's just the best I got right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably, if it works for you, then roll with it. So, okay. Get the code here. Alright. So, Reinhardt, right?
Yes, Reinhardt.
Blizzard applying update bug and replay viewer. I've had this happen twice in the past 24 hours, and it's not happened in like 4 months, and all of a sudden it's happening again. I gotta restart. Give me a second. And now
I've got company.
Yeah. I don't understand what's going on. At least it's better than it used to be. It used to be real bad. It used to be like you would applying update, and then you'd have to have the replay code section open for like 15 minutes, and then the replay codes would show up. Otherwise, it'd be empty, and it was a disaster. Okay, here we go. We're starting again. Surely it will work this time. Surely. Right. Okay. Come on. Okay, so it already exists. Route 66, yeah?
Yeah, Route.
All right, let's take a look here. Definitely, I assume this is you? Yeah, Killer Cloud, yeah.
Killer Cloud, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Definitely a semi-challenging Rhine map, at least up until third point, right? Just the amount of like space and high ground. I mean, you're playing at a level right now to where I don't feel like I have to teach you how to play Reinhardt, right? I think it will be more about seeing what we see, pointing out the mistakes in your play, and then if I see like a pattern of certain mistakes, maybe we can kind of evaluate your fundamentals. But obviously, you're at a high rank. You're at a high rank for a reason. So,
this was a GM. Well, they had a GM 1 team. I was GM 3 currently, but I think like my issue is just I don't know how to adapt to certain situations because like I usually have just one plan, and if it doesn't work, I'm fucked.
Right. That makes sense. Well, it's tricky because if you look at it realistically, Reinhardt is generally really only good at one thing, but being able to do that one thing in different circumstances, that's where you need the flexibility, right? For example, Reinhardt wants to hit people with his hammer, okay? So then how do you hit people with your hammer on Route 66? How do you hit people with a hammer on King's Row? How do you hit people with your hammer on Dorado's second point, right? That might look differently how you leverage your strengths to kind of, like your survivability in your hammer are your strengths, so how do you leverage that? First thing that you need to do is make sure that your soldier picks his hero, before the round's already over. So honestly, at a bit of a disadvantage here.
I did not know he was that late.
Yeah, it's not a lot you can do here. Like this, for example. What's better to hit with your hammer? A Sigma, an Ana, or Cassidy?
I'm going straight for the Kree.
Why?
Because I saw that he was by himself the most, and I was assuming that my team on the gas station will also be looking at him. So I thought, easy target.
So you choose Cassidy because he's a squishy, and you want to hit squishies with your hammer, and you also choose Cassidy over Ana because Ana is not feeding with her positioning. Cassidy is. So let's just ignore the fact that your soldier in Zenyatta and Widowmaker now are in spawn.
Oh, I did not realize that was played.
And I'm going to be honest with you. This is the right play. This is good. You use your pen. You got it covered. You clear this guy out or kill him. This is fine. So you need to You know, it's about finding things that you need to be doing better, but then also understanding that sometimes it's just nothing you can do, right? You had somebody in spawn. Like, what's there to learn from that? Not a lot.
All right, so like, okay, so I need to tell you that like, I was like on and off being tilted during this game.
Okay.
So it's like I think like the next 3 deaths I was tilted.
Okay.
Like right here I was tilted. Like after that first death I don't know why, but I was just tilted after that first death. But like I brought it back later on.
Right. Now, the real question is, did you bring it back just through sheer power of will and being, a responsible, mature individual, or because you accidentally popped off and that made you feel better about yourself?
I did not pop off. No, I brought it back because I realized I could make this winnable if I don't like hard throw.
Okay, so then you're a Chad then, because that's exactly what you need to be doing more often, right? Good. That's the skill, especially with our conversation a couple of days ago, that you need to improve that, right? It's not impressive if you manage to get a 5K and then you're like, oh, I feel better. No, well, duh, anybody would, right? Good on you though for actually taking control even when things are in the dung heap and then actually doing something about it. Because like as we said, nothing about first fight was there's nothing I could have done better, right? I mean, or something that you did wrong, excuse me. And even if there was, getting tilted about it won't fix it, right? Now again, let's talk Ryan. Ryan, you hit people with hammer. I've done a lot of Ryan reviews so far, and we've been going for the simplicity route. Why are you going for Sigma right now and not anybody else?
He is just simply the closest person.
And that's it right there.
That's it.
That's it right there. That's it right there. Now, you always prioritize squishies over tanks with Reinhardt. Why?
Well, because it would just take less time to kill him.
Exactly. But you prioritize Sigma because compared to his positioning and where you're right, exactly. So he's closer, right? So that's it. And you win HP trades for your team, and you win HP trade, you force the Sigma out, you create space. That's it. So this is all fine. The only problem here is then obviously, are you going to play this one effectively around your HP? Are you going to be aware of your team's positioning? And are you going to keep keeping in mind that your stupid soldier is dead again? And the answer is
right here. No. I would have not been up this close. I was just tilted, and I was like, either the Sigma's gonna die or I'm gonna die.
Right. So normally, if you're not in Incredible Hulk mindset right here, you stop right.
I wouldn't be here. Stop, and I immediately back up. I would not continue.
Okay. Well, then as long as you have that foundation, then we're good to go. And the irony here is that, as we said, it might be that your weakest skill is those sort of situations, right? Like maybe you are a good tank player, but that you struggle those situations when it doesn't happen. Now, obviously, you have to worry about point. But if you have the time, where do you need to be pushing?
On Kree.
Why Kree?
Because he's by himself on high ground. I can't really kill a fucking Tracer unless I land every single skill shot.
Exactly.
Most likely chance.
Exactly. Who's your most pressurable target, and who's the target that's playing the most aggressively? Because the target that's playing most aggressively is 2 things: 1, killable; 2, dangerous. If you dropped a point here without having, obviously if you have to touch, you have to touch. But like, let's say you have to drop the point without needing to touch. The Ana and Lifeweaver are not at all lethal because look at their positioning, right? Not very scary. Hard to do damage, harder to land nades, hard to land impactful sleep darts, not risky. The Cassidy is lethal. You need to kill Cassidy or remove Cassidy or both. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to do that before you have to touch cart.
I'm pretty sure I immediately dropped because I was not thinking at all.
Right. So optimally here, you would do what? Obviously, your HP is the major concern here, right? So what would you do here optimally?
Well, if I was in this position and knowing that my team is alive, I would try to go to the Kree, but if I was slowly going to die, then I would just either back off or I'll just die on point.
Right. I think optimally here, what you'd want to do is stand here and shield until you get your HP back, right? Then from there, if you are able to, walk on or pin on the Cassidy and then drop the point afterwards. You got to follow my logic there?
Yeah. If
you could do that. Now, again, as we said, the reason that you're dropping is not necessarily through a lack of knowledge, maybe more to do with your mentality. But okay, let's just pretend that you are in the right mentality so that we can actually learn something from that. Right. And then obviously try to keep working at the mentality, which to your credit, you said you were able to reverse that there, which is pretty nice. All right. So, you're gonna hold close here. Reasonable. Was this still mental boom?
Um, like it's slowly getting better. It's like I
Okay.
make less risky plays, but it's still
Okay.
risky.
Okay. Now I do not have a problem with you pushing up here. My question is, remember the answer. The answer is hit people with your hammer. Hit the most aggressive, most dangerous people with your hammer. But to decide about when and where to hit people with your hammer, what information do you need to have about your team?
Where they're at,
Right.
LOS and
Right.
shit.
Just LOS, right? Like you know, this position here, you could be here, you could be here, you could even be here, or even here, but you can't be here.
Yeah,
You
I would hope by like that the first corner by the gate if
Yeah,
I was totally
yeah.
mentally boomed.
Yeah. And from here, well, here's the other question too: are you controlling and hitting like dangerous people with this position right now, knowing what you know right now?
No.
Not really, right? But at least in this positioning, if you know Cassidy on and Lifeweaver here, then this actually position is pretty reasonable, right? I mean, maybe you could be like, well, you could have pushed out Sigma, but you didn't know it. That's all right. That's all right. But at least you're controlling people right here. Just the big thing here is that you're already low in HP. You're already low in shield, simply because you pushed. You didn't care. You didn't care.
I wasn't caring.
You're trolling. You're trolling. Because like the value here is fine. Like you're completely controlling their backline, and theoretically, this will allow you to eventually kill their Sigma. Right? The Sigma will eventually die.
Surely.
Right. But you weren't there long enough. Right? You weren't there long enough. So
I could have lived longer.
You could have lived longer and taken less resources, so your Ana could have actually assisted your soldier in killing the Sigma. Because the Sigma's trolling too. But you trolled faster. All right. Now this is where the Route 66 gets rough, right? The high grounds, the inability to push every angle. So what do you do?
I mean, I would either just, depending on his viewpoint, I would just kill the person on point. I would just try to focus whoever's on the high ground. That's what I would do here.
You can't. If you could fly, you would kill the Cassidy or get him off of high ground.
Yeah,
but you can't. So you need to find the next best thing. So maybe that's winning the Sigma trade. Maybe that's holding the corner. Maybe that's with your team getting out of this choke here, controlling the Sigma, and then from there trying to avoid the Sigma and go to the Ana. I'm not sure. But the important thing here is that you need to know is what's happening to your top left right now.
Top left. There's
You see
my team is still there. It's they're not with me.
Right, because what you're doing here in terms of like, okay, obviously you should have pinned up the stairs and then try to threaten the Ana Lifeweaver from here, right?
I was trying to get the Sigma. I was tunnel vision on the Sigma.
Right. So I guess even what you're doing is bad, but I guess it's more importantly for me is like playing around where your team can see. It's not the aggression.
When I'm doing it.
Right, but it's like just wait for right now. You'd like kind of chill and shield and like, okay, we're out. We get the headshot at Cassidy. We can walk out of the choke. Okay, then now I can go in, right? And then obviously when you do go in, not tunneling Sigma. It's not that Sigma is a bad matchup for you. It's just that there's a better matchup. Also
I should be on
available.
Ana.
Right. I mean, Sigma's fine, but why would you go over? Like, why would you have cake when you can have ice cream cake? You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
One of the shatters of all time. I mean, this is fine, right? Control Ana. That's a good trade right there. This is really good. You're gonna win the fight now. So, oh, nice. All right. Mental slowly resetting, surely. Nice. See, that's good. It's good. It's good. Reset high. And high ground's really good because it gives you the opportunity to kind of predict where their DPS are going to be, and then you can always drop if you want to, right? Now,
What?
You can't, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just can't. Like, he is unfortunately going to tuck back in, get help from his team, and you're not. So you, again, right now, I mean, look at the context here, right? Look at your Widow, look at your Zen, look at your Soldier. Where are you? Where is the space that you're holding? Where?
Top left.
Top left. Where else can you hold?
I can hold choke or the little high ground.
Here, right? You could sit here and hold shield if you want to, and then drop
hold
later. Right. You could even hold the Sigma like here, right? Like, or like make him walk out and then push him once he gets to like here, right? Because he's gonna get spammed out, right? But here, you're not gonna win this trade. It's the same thing as like what you were doing here, where you're holding here. Okay, good. No. Right?
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty much all it is. Because it's what you're doing now isn't bad, but it's not efficient, right? It's not efficient. Like here, if you're able to find like cover here and use your shield here, this is very efficient. Because from this position, you can still push them if they walk too aggressively, but they have to walk through the gauntlet of your Zenyatta and Soldier and Widowmaker to even access you. See, now, this is pretty crazy. So my question is, can your team trade Sigma at the same time?
Yeah, so it's like...
Yes, they can. You see that?
I mean, I hope they did, because I'm going in there, because like, the way I play Reinhardt, like, on most tanks is that don't look at the tank, look at the backline. Like, just walk past the tank and go on the squishy. That's the way I usually play.
It's a good mindset. It's a good mindset because it's an efficient use of your cooldowns. But I want this only works because their tank is doing the same thing. And were you sure that that's what he was doing? Did you know?
Well, yeah. I immediately see him. He was out far enough where I can go past him. I usually either. If they're playing like a ball or monkey, I know they're going to down my backline, so I just go in before he does it. Or if they're playing like a Sigma or an Orisa even, I'll wait for him to get up a little bit, and then I'll immediately go past him, try and get in the backline.
Makes sense. Makes total sense. My one concern would be that potentially he could drop here and LOS your team, and you wouldn't be able to push, or your team wouldn't be able to push him. But at least the theory of what you're doing is fine, as long as you play a little bit around your HP. So if like here, remember your play is not to necessarily kill backline, because if you come here and you see 1-2 people here, and then Ana coming soon, you've already done your job.
I should immediately leave.
You've already done your job. You've done a great job. Unless this person's like 1 HP, and they're not, you're not going to get the kill here, right? So you've done your job. Great work. Back out. Very, very risky, right? Very risky. So I like the theory of what you're doing. I do not like the execution. Let's put it that way. And in the execution specifically about how like you're managing your HP and your shield and stuff, and also when you're going for these plays, whether you have any awareness whatsoever about whether your team can trade elsewhere. Because that one worked out, but we've also seen ones where your team was literally across the map and wasn't shooting anything and like just watching you slowly die, and they're like, well, we can't help you. Because you have to think about it, like your Widow can't be like, oh, we're pushing into this choke, let me just drop down in here and SMG with you, right? No. Like her hero's horrible at that, right? She's going to try and control a sightline, so you need to be sensitive to that. If you're playing with a Lucio May, oh yeah, then we could push in here with you if you want. Huh. Again, zoning backline because Cassidy's feeding. I'm okay with that. But you've done your job, so now get out. Ah! Careful. You're crazy. You're just crazy. You're clinically insane.
Oh no, what?
Oh, jeez. Alright. So now it's the battle of the dive tanks, right? Which dive tank is going to do a better job? Which dive tank is going to demand less healing, kill more people, or take up more resources without dying? And Reinhardt,
when he went on ball, I was okay. I gotta like not fuck up these dives here.
Yeah. I feel like mental focus, right? All right, come on, get her. Did you know that she didn't have sleep dart?
No. The main thing that I need to work on is hearing. I don't play with audio. Is just blocking sleeps or going in when they don't have sleeps.
Okay.
I just got lucky that she used sleep before winning. I was anticipating getting slept there.
Right. Okay. Well, that's night and day because obviously, not having the audio is a little bit of a disadvantage.
Yeah, like I said, I'm a. Well, after 6 years of playing with, like, you know what? I'm gonna do some tomfoolery and not play with audio now because I'm bored of the game.
Fair enough. It is going to limit you in situations like that, though, for sure. And it might also limit you when it comes to like your team's awareness. So if that's something you want to roll with, then you're gonna have to compensate it by being a little bit more disciplined. Maybe visually looking for sleep dart. And in addition to that, obviously making sure that you're taking the time before you engage to turn around. Okay, my team is either engaged in a fight or can see what I'm going to do.
Right.
Solo shatter. Shatter. Ah, stop swinging on the ball. Killing me.
It was. See, I didn't see. I did it. Okay, now go. Okay, I did not see him fall off.
Yeah, it's a good shatter though. I got you. I'm just messing. This is really good. You're buying a lot of time. You're gonna get healed out. Like, this is great. This is good Reinhardt gameplay. You dove backline, ball dove backline, you dove backline better. That's it. Now do it again. Now, You're doing the gang. You're doing the thing again. Is your team engaged right now?
No, they're trying to.
Yes,
from what
they are.
I've seen,
They are.
They are engaged.
You see?
All right.
But you didn't know that.
I didn't know that they were engaged.
Because you could also very reasonably have the Genji just sitting here shooting shurikens in your head, and the ball just like chilling, and then they either kill you or clear you out, and then they dive while you're doing nothing because you're low in resources, right? Because you're right now, it's like, okay, should you be shielding here? You are zoning backline kind of, sort of here, but it's an accident that this works out. I don't want accidents. You know what I'm saying? I want this to be like an actual.
What do you mean accident?
Okay. Did you purposefully zone backline because you know their ball is engaged?
I was trying to. I go where I don't think. Like, to the way I also play, I make plays based on what I assume others would do. I don't assume a ball to be escorting the McCree or Ana. So I heard the Ana. We had sight, so I knew I knew where the Ana was.
Yeah.
But I realized the Ana could hear me because she was actively backing up while I was going on. I was going to drop behind her. So I was like, okay, I'm going to see how far she backs up. And then I realized, okay, yeah, she totally sees me. So I'm just going to like back the fuck up back because I made her back up, and I've got like some value by doing nothing. So I'm just going to back up. I can't deliver with the fucking creep.
You did. When I'm saying accident, I'm saying the timing of this control of space in terms of scaring the Ana Cassidy is well timed because at the same time the ball is going backline. But it did cost you shield and it did cost you a little bit of HP. My point being is that if the ball or Genji were not engaged right now, this would be trading shield HP for nothing. Right? So you'd want to be right now as a perfect time because if you think about this, the ball and Genji are trying to go in and the Ana Cassidy are doing nothing. That's your fault. You did a good job. But you didn't know that. So what you can do to make sure that you are doing it at a good time is right now, especially with sights. Oh, I see ball going in. My time to shine. That's what I want to see.
I just always assume the dive tank is not with their backline.
Well, you're right, but maybe the dive tank is still setting up for an engage and hasn't had time to go in just yet. Your team has pinged the ball, so it's probably a pretty good assumption that he's going in. But it's an assumption. Nice. Nice. Lifeweaver is a real hero.
I don't get his ult.
It's nice fire strike. And now you know the fight's going, so it doesn't matter what the heck you do. You can just run around the map. Get her. Ah, you found her. Nice. Okay, let's go. Okay, next round. Nice work. So for you, I think the mentality is obviously the number one thing, but that's kind of irrelevant to the gameplay we've talked about. For you, it's going to be more about making sure that when you are going for this dive Rein playstyle, which is the way to play Rein, that you're doing it when your team can either help you or when your team is also fighting something else at the same time. You want to split the enemy team's attention, right?
Right.
And then the second skill for you is just being, maybe it's more tilt driven than anything else, but being like more resource efficient, right? Like when you zone backline, don't keep going because you're not likely to get a kill, but you are likely to die, I guess is the point. Because if you die, then it's not a good trade. If you zone backline and live, and then do it again, and then do it again, and then get a kill, like it's brilliant. You're not putting on any pressure when you're dead.
So on attack, I wasn't tilted, but I was like limit testing because on attack was a lot more difficult, but I wasn't like fully tilted, but I was like, okay, well this is not working, so I'm gonna try to do some of this shit.
Well, good. I mean, that's how you learn, right? You troll a little bit. I'm never against limit testing. Now, obviously, the Reinhardt thing here, right? You hit squishies with hammer. Squishies on high ground. I don't have flying wheels, so how do I do that? So either I find a way to get to high ground, or I try to win a trade elsewhere. Like, you can win a trade with an Orisa, right? If you play it really well. And then if you win the trade with Orisa, maybe you can push cart. If you push cart, maybe you can hop into high ground, and then you get to your end goal. You got to be thinking like chess, like 7 steps ahead of time, right? But obviously it starts with win the trade with Orisa. Win the trade with the Orisa, you've now earned the right to jump on top of the high ground. But if you don't win the trade with the Orisa, you'll never even get to the high ground. Now, you're probably talking about limit testing here, so I assume there's going to be some shenanigans about trying to get to the high ground, so I'm looking forward to this. If you don't pin off the map at least one time in this map, I am going to be very disappointed.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. This is interesting. I think this is a squishy that is accessible, isn't it? Right?
As soon as I saw that bat, I was like, I'm going for him.
I'm down for it. The thing that's tilting me though is when you're going.
Yeah.
Look at your resource management here, right? If you had known that this was something you might go for, look at your shield, right?
That was more of a out of the blue like reactory. I didn't expect him to be there.
But here's what I'm going to tell you to do. Conserve your shield and HP as much as you possibly can, so that expect these opportunities to present themselves. Because even if you were to trade on the Orisa right now, you'd want as much shield as you possibly could. You see what I'm saying? So if you're resource efficient, whenever these random lucky opportunities present themselves, you're always ready. Create your own luck by being ready for any time you see an opportunity. I love this. Go for it. It obviously doesn't work out, but it does force both Orisa cooldowns, and you don't lose a lot of HP for it, so there you go. Love to see it. Now, do it. Do it, you coward. Yeah. Nice. Oh my gosh, the surgeon is just...
Yeah, I didn't know what to do here. I don't know what's pushing
honestly, mate, it happens. Go next. really not even hating. It is what it is.
I didn't think I was gonna get a single kill, so I might as well just get much cart value.
Yeah. I think that's probably pretty reasonable. You are gonna die, but yeah, that's fine. Okay, go next. Nice. So that's super cute. You force the BAP out, and you're like, all right, Orisa, now I'm time to take it. Oh, she's out, right? You created space. Nice job. Now, the funny thing here is if you wanted to, if you were able to conserve your HP, you could go back here again if you wanted to, because the Orisa's backed out. You see that?
Yeah.
You don't have to. That's something to consider. Uh-oh. Nice. I like the creativity. You either attack the high ground or you avoid it, right? No in between. Don't think you can reach that.
I tried.
Yep. Oh, he's cooked. No, gosh. Okay,
well,
really?
I got stuck on something, dude.
You got stuck on something. Okay, really, you should have also grabbed the Mega too.
Right, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't know.
You really should have grabbed the Mega. Yeah, that's right there. Yeah, it's just right there. I mean, honestly, once again, it's not the theory of what you're doing; it's the execution. You know, that's all it is. If you'd had 250 more HP here, including armor, this guy's cooked, and you live, right? I mean, look at this. They're all chasing you. You're gonna pin this BAP, kill this BAP. You're gonna hard shield here. The Sojourn's going to die, and then you're gonna drop, push cart, and then take the BAP. Like you can follow this. So one's 2 steps ahead. So for you, I like the way that you approach the game. The timing and your resource management, for lack of a better term, are the things that's preventing you from being the crack addict that you ought to be, right? That's the problem here. I have no problems with what you're trying to do. I like the limit testing. I don't even think it quantifies as limit testing. It's just objectively good space creation with Reinhardt, right? Especially like in a non-mirror, you have to be creative like this, right?
Well, I say limit testing as in something I would not normally do.
Well, you should normally do that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
What I normally do would just hold shield and wait for my team to do something.
Right. But that's no good. You know, that's not what your hero's good. Your hero's good at hitting with hammer and not holding shield. I guess a little bit of both, technically, but you know. Yep. Now, is your team engaged right now? I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. The entire enemy team.
Here they are, because I'm seeing my Hanzo getting hit.
Surely. Okay, so this should. I mean, it doesn't really matter. They're all dead, but yeah, this is good. This is good space creation. Honestly, here I would not even drop the card. I would trust my Ana to take a card, and I'd sit up here with my Hanzo. Because remember, you know where the swooshes are going to come from, right? You know where they're going to come from.
Right. They're going to come from the top.
Right. So you want to be there. Let somebody whose positioning isn't as important as you, or who has more flexible positioning, to do this.
That's just a trust thing.
Right. And obviously, worst case scenario, you might have to drop and push card. It's gonna happen. Like, let's say you were playing with like an Ana Zen and they're on high ground, and your Tracer with pulse bombs like hiding here, and your Widowmaker's like back here. Yeah, you gotta push card, right? But you never know. It's not hard to drop 2 card. It is hard to fly to high ground as Ryan, right?
Right.
So might as well start on high and then go, oh shoot, I gotta push card. No, right. Nice.
Okay, this is like a very tomfoolery playability here.
Okay, I'm excited. You've set the bar really high, so anything less than the S tier tomfoolery is gonna be disappointing.
This wasn't me being tilted. This was okay. I'm about to see what I can actually get away with.
Is the fight engaged yet?
The way I see it, not right now.
You should have waited 3 seconds. I'm not gonna lie.
I was hoping that they were all there, but the Sojourn, I I miscalculated the Sojourn to be not there.
But just wait a second. Let them come out, watch payload, listen for combat, listen for cooldowns, then come out. Let the Sojourn just kind of walk out here and go out to here, and then you can do your little, your Mission Impossible, and then slam them like here. Again, it kind of comes back to the first thing we were talking about in defense, right? Where it's like, it's too easy for them to focus you down, and your team can't really do anything about it. They might be able to trade in the Orisa a little bit. You know what's actually funny is the Orisa actually is engaged. So you know what? That might have been actually decent value, but it was kind of luck. I don't think you were particularly. Ah, you're trolling.
Yeah, you were not done seeing it. You were not done watching it.
Nah, it's not even tomfoolery. There's a difference between tomfoolery and just foolishness, you know. But again, the theory of the play. Oh, I'm all down for that. I'm totally down for that. You just because you have to understand is like I am all about creativity and limit testing and playing the strengths of your hero in creative ways and doing fun stuff, just as long as you do the fundamentals. You know what I'm saying? The fundamentals of good timing around when your team is like actually able to help you or at least trade the Orisa if you distract the backline, right? And if you could do that, then I'm cooking, man. Like you could do it again. You could go through here, you could pin up to here, crouch around behind, and walk on this Kiriko. And as long as your team is like at that same time kind of walking out of the choke, I'm totally fine with that, right? Yep. Not bad. Maybe a little early, but not bad, right?
Yeah. Just the way I think it's like, the fastest way to get close to people if they're poking you out is just, charge.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's not the concept. It's could we have waited for my Hanzo Zenyatta to take a little more space, like just to come a little closer? Because and then now, what should you do?
I'm immediately going to shield.
Right. Resource management. You've done a great job. Look at the fortify, the panic. Everyone's freaking out. You've done a great job. Chill. Get her. Nice. Honestly, mate, like you deserve to win this match. You deserve to win this map. You played really well. Yeah, you definitely played real well. Here's what I like you doing. You need to know the rules to know how to break the rules. And that's kind of what you're doing right now. Your rules are this. You want to hit people with your hammer. Right. And you do a good job of it. And because you understand that rule and you're good at it mechanically as well, you're able to do things that a lot of lower ranked Reinhardts wouldn't be able to do because they don't understand the rules as well as you do. And they're not as good at doing it mechanically. So what seems like trolling from an outside perspective, it lines up with the strengths of the hero, right? My only nitpick is when the two ways that you interpret that are sometimes you don't pay as much attention to when your team can assist you or shoot something else, so the timing just a little bit. And then when the play is a success just from the distraction point of view, you are not happy with the distraction. You want the kill. Right. And I think sometimes that gets you killed when, unfortunately, the enemy team sometimes is just going to do a good job peeling you off, right? Or you're going to run into 3 people and you don't have Earth Shatter. I'm sorry, but you're not getting the kill there. But if you keep those guys busy and keep yourself alive and manage your shield and things like that, then you're going to be in a much better position. So the theory of what you're doing is fine. The timing of what you're doing it is inconsistent. And your resource management in terms of, okay, I'm low or my shield's low, I need to kind of play it safe until I can get my HP back, then go in aggressive again. That's also inconsistent. I won't say that or your timing is bad because it just wasn't bad, but it definitely was the two things that I would be working at. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
So like the only issue that you've seen that were like constant?
Yeah. In terms of gameplay, yes. The tilt, number one thing, of course.
Oh, of course.
But because that's what's forcing you to make a lot of mistakes that you wouldn't otherwise make, right? Okay. That's the root cause of the mistake. But when you were not playing tilted, I think the other two errors were still occasionally coming up, and it could be worth putting emphasis on. So timing of when you go for plays, pressure around when your team can either help you or hurt someone else on the enemy team, just like a backline trade, right? Like they were focusing ball while you're controlling backline, right? And then resource management, if you don't have the shield HP to force something, that's fine, just survive. Even like when you died on first point pushing that Baptiste, right, when you could have grabbed mega health back,
Right.
Even though you're like, oh, I didn't know they're behind me, you just didn't have the HP to go for that play. So worst case scenario, you stay in there on cart, you hold shield, you wait. You're still distracting the Batiste. You're still distracting the Arisen Sojourn. You're still causing chaos. You're still doing your job. You just might not be able to get the kill. And that's just unfortunately how it is.
So at the very worst, I should just, cause chaos. And that's fine.
Yes, and survive as long as you can.
And survive.
Right, because you could do that a lot. Like you are a threat, and therefore because you are a threat, people have to give you attention. And if they give you attention, you can then turn the tables and just be like, I just wanted to live. Joke's on you. I wasn't even trying to kill you guys. And then meanwhile, your team is taking like a 4v1 elsewhere, and the Genji's screaming, "Why am I not getting healing? Why am I not getting healing?" Well, we know why. That's you. And that's what your hero is really good at, right? Your hero is good at killing people, but your hero is also, like, even post nerf, is like really good at just surviving a long time. You're just kind of zoning, I guess, for lack of a better term. Okay.
Right.
No other questions?
That's pretty much it.
All right, mate. Well, I appreciate you being flexible with